Episode 9 Static begins with Joe appearing back in town, naked. Janet finds him and brings him back to the hotel, where the other captives are all shocked. Joe has no clue what day it is, what happened, or who they are, but acts surprised when they ask about the program. Later, Joe heads to the Shanghai Palace, where he demands to see Tom only to be ignored. He tries to access the secret command center in the freezer, but it's been bricked over like it never existed. And when he asks again for Tom, they point to a memorial photo. Joe storms out screaming for Tom, but not before throwing a perfectly delicious plate of egg rolls at the wall. Meanwhile, we see a much more elaborate control center. We meet Liam Ulrich, who storms into the control center, demanding to speak to the director and threatening the staff if they don't comply. Liam's is the threatening Irish voice we heard in previous episodes. Back in town, Janet's having her own crisis, staring at Joe's creepy sketch of her. Erica shows up to deliver the pep talk no one asked for, calling Janet the strongest one there. I'm sure Tom wouldn't have argued with that. Jermaine and Kat are stuck in a dingy hotel room, complaining about maxed-out credit cards and zero phone service. Kat scours the job listing so she can earn enough to buy a couple of plane tickets. Then they hear a knock on the door, and Jermaine is arrested. The police say they are going to take him back home to face charges of double murder and kidnapping. Back at the hotel, Joe meets Moira, who's basically like, "Nice to meet you. I don't trust you." Out of the elevator appears the night manager. He hears a beep and dashes into the back office. There he Zoom calls with Ulrich and the director. They tell him he needs to watch Joe until a replacement for Tom arrives. Meanwhile, Jermaine gets bailed out of jail by the priest they met back at Joe's old church. He smuggles Jermaine and Kat across the border in a coffin truck, ensuring their side questing never ends. The director expresses her frustration to Liam, saying this is the most promising candidates they've seen in 10 years. She sends him away and orders him to take his assistant with him as a potential case manager. Back in town, the captives debate whether Joe's more useful dead or alive. Joe walks in and everyone goes quiet. He browses the delicious buffet, asking if they have anything but Chinese food. He hates Chinese food. He goes into the back kitchen and starts making a sandwich. He opts for cold cuts, cheese, Swiss presumably, tomatoes, and mustard. Janet pleads with him to help them escape, but he says he doesn't remember anything. She touches him on the shoulder, giving him violent flashbacks. He grabs her, throws her out of the kitchen, and jumps after her like a spider monkey, attempting to stab her with a kitchen knife until the group disarms him, and he runs out into the street. Back at the hotel, the group debates what to do about Joe. Erica wants to kill him. The others think that he might be an asset. Bill says he wants to take a nap. Jeanette says they need to find Joe while Erica grabs her crowbar. This panics the night manager. Liam FaceTimes him and asks why he has put the town on lockdown. The night manager explains that Joe has gone rogue and the group is forming a lynch mob. Liam tells him to get it under control and says he's going to demand a full report. The trio arrive at the border and start having a picnic before crossing the fence. The priest tells how nearby villages have noticed strange lights and what they call the blues. Just then, he's shot in the head and a truck filled with blue jumpsuited men chased Jermaine and Kat through the woods, but they managed to hide behind a rock. Back at the hotel, the night manager is packing a bag and planning to flee the town. Joe appears at the doorway and asks for information. We find out he genuinely doesn't remember being part of the group or killing Tom. The night manager offers him some hot tea and places his hand on Joe's shoulder. Big mistake. Joe violently attacks the night manager, spider monkeys over the bar, and throws the night manager through the window. Guess he's more of a coffee drinker. Back in the control room, the director blames Liam for Joe's outbreak and says this cannot happen again. Liam's not looking forward to his upcoming performance review. Jermaine and Kat hike through the South American jungle. Kat says she misses her job, her Pilates class, her BMW. She stops and asks Jermaine if he's doing this for Megan, or if he's really doing it for Janet because he still loves her. He says he is doing it for Megan and to make up for everything he's done wrong in his life. He says he loves her. She says she loves him. They smile and walk off into the jungle. I'm pretty sure their storyline is part of a completely different TV show. Janet finds Joe up on the roof of the hotel. He's standing on the ledge looking down on a street dark and empty as his soul. She urges him to come down. He tells her he can't control himself and that if she doesn't back off, he'll attack her. She reaches out to him, which triggers Joe, who grabs her and dangles her over the edge, holding her ever so lightly by her hoodie lapels. Janet pleads with him some more, and he begins to collect himself. He pulls her up and they embrace. The director and Liam watch all this, impressed with Janet's skills, I suppose, of pleading for her life. They say they need to watch her more closely, and the director says she's sending Liam into the town as the new night manager. Kat and Jermaine make their way out of the jungle and follow a set of tire tracks. They come to a clearing and finally see civilization, not realizing that this town isn't what they think. That concludes episode 9. Tune in next time, where we'll see Joe wrestle with his feelings for Janet, chase scenes with Jermaine and Kat, and characters who sit around because the writers didn't know what to do with them. No, that's not just next episode. That's every episode. That's literally every episode.